What is up, YouTube? Today we're back and we got you guys' favorite thing ever. All right, the snow dog. We got it here in the garage. We got to do a few modifications. I've seen the comments. I've seen all the helpful tips. I pretty much knew what needed to be done last year. I just didn't have time or really that much snow and ice to use it. Like the 2 testing videos I did, I went on one other ice fishing trip than that, and you didn't see any content on this. Actually 2, sorry. And we didn't really catch any fish. One, we did an overnight, and we didn't catch any fish. But we camped overnight on the ice. I tried to make a video. You didn't see it, obviously, because we didn't catch anything. And then I lost that footage and blah, blah, blah. So now, I got the snow dog here. I've ran this thing maybe like 4 times. As you guys can tell if you guys watch the other videos, this handle is too short. So, I got more of this square tubing. I'm going to cut it there, take all my wiring off. Probably have to lengthen out all my wiring, make it longer. But, put the battery box back in it. Put the negative through there, put the positive on the, wire up the battery. I had the caulk inside there. It's not the best looking job, but it'll do. I might put some more paint under that battery tray, maybe even like a little piece of rubber, because it rattles a lot. Believe it or not, these sides don't rattle that much. This is all the rattling you hear in the videos is that little protecting piece that I put up there so that snow doesn't get thrown back into the starter and all the electronics. And I may try and make a cage for this clutch after I adjust that out, because that's the 2 biggest thing you guys tell me. You guys tell me I better fix that clutch right now, otherwise I'm going to run somebody over, which A, that'd be pretty sweet. B, when I'm ice fishing, I normally don't fish by a herd of people where I'm going to run somebody over. But hey, if I did, it'd be kind of sweet depending on the person. Anyway, we will adjust that clutch. Muffler is good. Spark plug's good. I might change the spark plug due to people saying that they get this engine to be able to be started without the choke, which would be nice. But in my application, I think it's always going to have to be started with a choke, because it's going to be like in like the 20s and 30s and maybe below that if I'm lucky. I need to get one of those like red drain plug things that goes down there, so I don't have to use that drain plug anymore, because that drain plug makes a mess all the way down the front of the tunnel and on the track every time I have to change the oil. So I gotta get one of those little drain hose things and thread it in there and feed it out over to the side, and then I can just tuck it up in this little area while I'm driving around. But I gotta get one of those to make it easier. I think I gotta adjust the clutch out, I believe. I don't know, I'll have to look at it. Here's my alignment on the 2. They're pretty close, but when that thing comes out and pulls in, it's kind of sideways still. So I'll have to look at all that, test it all out. Biggest part is going to be extending this handle. I'm going to cut it off and probably extend it out to there, but then I'll put this whole apparatus here out here. So it'll be like 10, 12 inches longer. I think that'll be good enough to get me to the middle of the sled, because right now I'm in the front of the sled. And yes, I did shorten down the tongue of the sled, if you were the person that commented that. Good idea, but I already got to it, sadly. That wasn't the only fix. And I'm not going to shorten down that hitch, because I don't want to drill and cut, and yeah, it's just too much work. So I'm going to lengthen out the handles, because I got that welder over there that's hasn't been used in a while. It's kind of got a I don't even know what's on it. Puppy splash pad or something. I don't know. My mom has too many ideas. Oh, and then I'm also going to put electric start up here, hand warmer switch, and this button. So I'm going to cut this little thing off that I welded on there last year, grind it all down, put a bigger one on there, wire these hand warmers in to the battery so you can turn them off and on a switch. I don't know how that's going to go, so we're going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have longer throttle cable. I believe this light bar wiring thing here has more length in it in here, so I might be able to get 10, 12 inches out of that little ball in there. But yeah, that is about the overview. This one ain't auto darkening, but holy cow, is that helmet a lot better. That one is junk. That weld looks crispy. Alright, on the left is the first batch of welds. On the right is the second. If you're a professional welder, don't rate either of these. But look at that. Not the best, but it'll hold a lot better than whatever I was doing over here with the Harbor Freight helmet on. So that's after I grinded. You can barely see any of that weld on the right. Maybe where I started and stopped. That's about it. Isn't that great? I'll grind down that one and see what they look like. Alright, don't even ask me what to call this whole contraption here. Because I don't know. But I've leveled it out. Got the whole deal going here. I mean, if you look a little bit further out, I mean, I got that leg leveled out with that leg over there, and then that. It's a mess, but it works and it's level, and all I need to do is tack those two pieces of the metal together. So we're gonna do that, and I'll be right back with you guys. Boom. Don't judge the welds, or do. I don't really care. But if I had less stuff in this garage, the handles are lengthened out. Now I just gotta add a support like that right up in there, and then I need to add this handle on, which I already got the throttle cable cut off of it, and I just need to make a bigger plate on here once it's welded on, and put the throttle cable on once it's welded on. I think that's it. This thing looks like a whole different buggy. Holy cow. As you can tell, I haven't updated you in a while. It's actually just been like 2 days. I've kind of been doing what I can after work. Just kind of getting stuff done as much as I can. Obviously, the last thing you guys saw was these two 16-inch bars get welded on. And then you guys saw the handlebar wasn't welded on and that brace wasn't in there. But I got the brace in there, the handlebar welded on. The new throttle cable, JB welded in. Doesn't look the best, but who cares? Functionality. Got this welded on yesterday. Painted everything yesterday. Primed, painted. I decided I didn't like the look of the aluminum. Still aluminum, just painted it. Primer, scuffed it up, I should say. Let me not get ahead of myself here. Scuffed it up. Primer, painted the whole thing. Inside and out. Got like this bed liner stuff on it. So it's kind of got like a tougher finish to it. Put some white lithium grease in these little joints there, because it was squeaked when I lifted it up. So now when you pick it up, it's just quiet, and that is way better than what it was before. What else did I do? Oh, I got this bar bolted in here to lengthen it, or to widen it out. Put 2 bolts right here, and then I have a bar that goes across there to stop this from rattling back and forth when it's idling. That makes this chain slap and that rattle. I had to get a tighter spring for that to tighten down my tensioner. Even though it's pretty tight, but it looks loose, the chain does. And that's just because we can't take another length out of it. We can't take another length out of it, but what we can do is get a tighter spring so that it's always taut. Obviously, I have to rewire everything. I pulled all the wires out of there. This panel is off because obviously I didn't want to paint by the engine. That one is done, and it is right over here, all painted. This is what I used. It's not like an actual truck bed coating. It just kind of gives it like a rough finish. It's not actually like anything more structural or anything. I'm gonna paint those little rod holders that I made black. Kind of put everything back together. I still have to look at the clutch. I think my problem on the clutch is this guy right here doesn't go all the way in, because this grabs the belt no matter what it's spinning at. I don't know. I'll look into the clutch stuff. You guys got a million ideas, but I already tried them all, so I don't know what there is to do. I've spaced it out so it's more in line. You know, I obviously can go more out with it. Yeah, I might post a reel. I might post a YouTube reel on what I should try and do with that. That's the only thing I have left to do is the clutch and wiring. Wiring, clutch, and putting the bar in. Oh, I have that bar. That bar's over here. Bar is over here, hanging up by the bench. It's just painted black. There's nothing special. Let me flip the screen out here so I can see my ugly self this morning. Yeah, that's the update on the Snow Dog. Everything got painted. Everything is welded. Just have to bolt that bar on. Start putting everything back together. And then, yeah, I just got to wire. So, in theory, it can be done today. But the clutch won't be done. But, honestly, I don't think the clutch is that big of a deal. It just kind of lurches forward on me. But now that I have this... Now that I have this electric start button that I'm going to be putting right here next to the light bar switch, it goes right here. I won't even have to leave the sled, so I can literally just get in and go. I can go boom, fire it up and go, because I got a kill switch right here that works. It just has to be wired, and then I gotta wire the throttle cable in. So yeah, I don't think the clutch is a big deal, but since y'all are you need to fix that right now, or somebody's gonna get hurt, somebody's gonna get ran over, whatever, I could care less. It runs, it pulls, it doesn't break anything. It pulls right down the road. It'll pull your house down. I don't know what to tell you guys other than I don't really care about the clutch. It works. It might just lurch forward a little bit. Oh well. I think it's actually the clutch piece because I've tried just about everything else, and that's the only thing that hasn't. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm gonna get building, and I might show you a little bit of what I get done when I get it done. Let it focus Whoa. Alright, I'm horrible at finishing out projects. Filming-wise, anyway, filming-wise. Well, I'm great at building things, I think. But I get so involved in it that I just don't finish filming the project. So as you can tell, minus all the junk in here, this snow dog's done. So let me give you a little tour of what I did after my neighbor lands his dang plane for the 10th time today. It's like, bro, just put it away. It's wintertime. So there's a lot more on this button panel than last time. So now I got to have this kill switch engaged and the key on. With the key on and that engaged, you gotta have the gas on too. I always forget that. You can come over here, pull up this red lever for the choke, and then hit this and go. As you can tell, it wanted to fire because it was just running. So I just ran it out here. But then you kill both of these. Make sure the gas is off. Boom. You can't start it, can't go anywhere. Obviously, didn't get the hand heaters hooked up. As I mentioned before in the video, I need the rheostat or whatever it is with the temperature regulation thing for a snowmobile. I don't think I'm going to do that because honestly you don't run this very far. You kind of just run it out to your spot, and I have warm gloves on anyway. So then still standard light bars on there. Nothing much going on there. I routed all my cables down here, zip tied them all up. And then the choke cable, you might be thinking, well, how did you put a choke on a Predator motor? They don't have a choke plate. I left the package in here so I can get you guys this part right here. Honda genuine part. You can take a picture of that or whatever. But pretty much, it's a plate that sits on the back side of this carburetor that you can't see because there's no light in this shed. Yeah. So this choke cable goes back here. There's a plate that pushes on the front of the carburetor and has a little hook in there. You'll see it if you look up that part number. And then I just ordered a 120-inch choke cable, which it was labeled as a PTO cable off a tractor. Either way, it's a choke cable. And then it was a little short, so I routed it up in there and just called it good. The rest of the wires come down here. This goes in behind the gas tank down and to the kill switch, which is under here. The rest of this is just light bar wiring. And then throttle cable. I got a new throttle cable. Put that on there. And then this, that was also a 120-inch cable. And then this here is where all the wires go in to this box. And then they go up under this thing and they go inside. And I actually have the lawnmower battery in here. And then I have a smaller battery which gets hooked up to this 12-volt plug, as you guys seen in the last however many videos, if you guys pay attention to that. And then as you can tell if you watch the last videos, I painted the whole thing black this time. It's kind of like a tough coating. It's not very tough, but got the battery box strapped down. Belt is off. Pins in here. It's ready to roll. These are even painted black. I still think there's something wrong with this clutch because when I turn the engine on and it's just idling here, that clutch engages in it. That bottom, I think that's the primary. It just starts engaging and it's like half closed. So I don't think it's anything to do with alignment or belt or anything like that. I think that thing's bad and I might have to replace it. But that's a story for another day. The only story for today is that I'm ending off this video until we get snow. Sadly. But I have to test this whole thing, like the whole choke lever. I have to hold that choke lever up like the whole time. If I put it back down, then it turns the choke off, which is no problem. The throttle cable's a little loose. I have to readjust it. I have to get a heavier spring for the tensioner on the chain. As you guys could tell last year, I think I had it in a video where it goes back and forth a little bit when it's just idling, but when it's going fine, it tightens down and it does its job. And then I added this bar in here for support so this front bar doesn't rattle back and forth and add to the vibration that's up there. So yeah, did a few things to the Snow Dog. She's ready to go. I'm ready to go. Mother Nature's not ready to go. Whenever Mother Nature's ready, I'll go. Yeah, that's it for now. Obviously, you saw in the beginning of the video, I lengthened the handlebars, whatever. I just gave everything a fresh paint job for this winter, and called it good. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Any tips you have on this whole build or anything else, let me know down in the comments what you want to see this year for ice fishing, since I have unlimited time really to film anything. And yeah, those products that I used in the video will be linked down below, as far as the choke plate and the throttle cable that I used and the choke cable that I used. And yeah, that's really about it. Unless you guys, whatever you guys want to see in the description, I'll put in there, whatever. If you comment that you want to see a certain part and what it is, I'll just put it in the description down below. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you when there's snow.